If your first date feels like an absolute roller coaster where your stomach is turning, your heart is racing, and you spend the next 3 days obsessively checking your phone to see if they have texted you back or not, it's probably not chemistry. It's your nervous system recognizing anxiety. But we don't call it anxiety, do we? We call it a spark. We call it butterflies. We tell our friends, oh my God, I've met someone and the connection is electric. But there is a very dark psychological truth about electrical currents. They can light up a room or they can fry your entire system. And for a lot of us, that intense, overwhelming attraction we feel early on is not a sign that we have found the one. It's a warning sign that our subconscious has just recognized someone who holds the exact vocabulary required to trigger our oldest, deepest psychological wounds. So, if you're tired of chasing people who make you feel high for a day and anxious for the next week, stay right here. Today, we are breaking down the actual science of why we love who we love and why your brain is actively lying to you and what real compatibility feels like. Let's talk about the cultural lie we all have been fed. The pop culture, the romantic comedies, the fiction novels, they all have taught us that love should feel like a panic attack. We have been conditioned to believe that if a relationship doesn't involve intense longing, emotional instability, or a constant state of uncertainty, then it must be boring. We have been taught that love is a chase. So when you meet someone who is actually stable, emotionally available, and completely predictable, you don't feel that panic. And because you don't feel that panic, your brain misinterprets the peace as a lack of chemistry. So you tell yourself, yeah, they're nice, but the spark isn't just there. What you are actually saying is that they aren't triggering my survival mechanisms, so I don't know how to interact with them. When you grow up in an environment where love had to be earned, where parents were emotionally inconsistent, or where peace was just the quiet moment before the next storm, your nervous system learns to equate chaos with comfort. Chaos becomes your baseline. So when a healthy person walks into your life and offers you genuine calm connection, it feels completely foreign. Your brain rejects it. Not because it is bad, but because your subconscious confuses familiarity with safety. In psychology, there is a concept known as repetition compulsion. It describes our subconscious drive to repeat childhood dynamics in our adult life. Otherwise, why on earth would we do that? Why would we willingly choose partners who neglect us, who ignore our boundaries, or who, who keep us guessing? It's because the human psyche craves a rewrite. Just think of your subconscious mind as a director trying to fix a broken movie. If you had a parent who was emotionally unavailable, your inner child carries a deeply rooted belief that says, if I can just find someone else who is emotionally unavailable and finally convince them to love me, I will cure the original pain. So when you enter a room, your conscious mind thinks it's looking for someone kind, funny, and stable, but your subconscious mind is scanning the room like a radar. It is looking for the person who holds the other half of your puzzle. The moment you spot someone who looks like they might abandon you or shut down or pull away completely, your system lights up. Adrenaline spikes, cortisol floods your body, and you sit across from them at dinner, feeling your chest tighten. And you think, wow, this is a spark. But it's not. It's an addiction to the cycle of pain and relief. When an emotionally unavailable person finally gives you a crumb of validation, the dopamine hits hit is massive. It's a chemical high. But you know what? A healthy relationship isn't supposed to be a drug addiction, it is supposed to be a safe harbor. So, how do you break the cycle? How do you retrain your brain to stop running toward the fire and start running toward the peace? Here's your 3 step psychological blueprint to practice this week. Step number 1 is redefine the butterfly. The next time you meet someone and feel overwhelming butterflies, I want you to pause. Do not text your friends telling them you have found the one. Instead, ask yourself a hard question. Is this connection or is this a lack of information? Often, butterflies are just the physical manifestation of suspense. You don't know where you stand with them, so your body is on high alert. Just reframe the feeling from this is magical to this is information, and I need to proceed. Step 2 is commit to the boring second date. If you go out with someone who is polite, ask yourself meaningful questions. Response to someone who responds to your text within a reasonable time and leaves you feeling calm, your brain might whisper that there is no spark, don't ever go back. Overrule your brain. Commit to a second or a third date. Give your nervous system time to settle down enough to actually see the person rather than just looking for a trigger. Peace takes time to appreciate. Step number 3 is audit your internal narrative. Notice the language you use when someone treats you well. Do you call them too nice? Do you find yourself picking them apart over minor flaws? Just write them down, what you are actually afraid of. Usually, we reject healthy love because we don't believe at the core level that we are worthy of a relationship. And that doesn't require us to suffer first. Moving your baseline from attraction to chaos to attraction to peace is not something that happens overnight. It requires you to sit with the discomfort of safety. But once you begin rewiring what attraction means to you, you're going to notice a major shift. The people who used to look exciting will start to look incredibly exhausting. And the people who used to look boring will suddenly look like the ultimate luxury. Of course, recognizing the pattern is only step 1. The moment you decide to step out of the chaos, you usually run straight into another classic relationship trap. The endless loop where one person craves closeness and the other constantly runs away. To understand exactly why the dynamic happens and how to stop playing your part in it, click right here on the next video where we pull back the curtain on anxious avoidant trap. See you there.